Final heat for the women in event number 3 of the CrossFit competition. It is the Circus, presented by Concept 2. Thanks for being with us, everybody. I'm Sean Woodland with Adrian Conway. Kiki Dixon is down on the field. Tia Toomey and Laura Horvath tied with 180 points, but it's Toomey, courtesy of her event win in Texas Heavy, who occupies the top spot in the overall standings. Emma Lawson and Gabby McGowan sit in 3rd and 4th, separated by just 5 points. And it's Alex Gazan right now in 5th. She is just 35 points out of first place. It is tight in spots 1 through 5. 10 women will be on the field for this second and final heat, and they are all trying to track down Danny Spiegel. Spiegel has the top time from heat number 1 unofficially at 10:56. Final heat is underway. 32 calories to start here on the erg. After that, it's 10 reps on that 70-pound sear bell, and then 1 lap on the killer cage.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Sean, one athlete I got my eyes on, which why would you not have your eyes on this athlete? She is the defending fittest woman on earth and the defending Rogue Invitational champ, but it's Laura Horvath. She has got a unique ability to hang and do it well, and what I mean by that is her history and her enjoyment for rock climbing has really developed a stamina and a strength on things such as the killer cage, on things such as, like we saw earlier, the log muscle up. So I think this is an event that she could have some great success in, coupled with all the time that these athletes will spend on the ski erg, and of course the shoulder to overhead with the circus dumbbell.
Laura Horvath there on the all black, moving towards the right side of your screen, who is now in the lead, along with Emma Carey and Ariel Lowen. 32 calories to complete here.
We talked about fate favoring the fearless here is one of the keys where these athletes are on the ski erg. They've got to be willing to lean into a bit of discomfort here. They can't settle back or throttle back in hopes that this is merely a timekeeper. They've got to advance forward. And of course, they've got to adapt on the fly. They've got to be able to adjust to how this dumbbell feels, the size of it, how to cycle it appropriately, and the same with the killer cage.
Horvath is off first and onto the dumbbell for her 10 reps. Down in lane 3, Emma Carey is second. And that's just about everybody else moving to the dumbbell at the same time. Horvath is done.
And you like the aggression that she turned to run to the killer cage again to create any separation that she could when she could. And we see her one touching all the rungs as she starts.
Emma Carey is off, as is Emma Lawson. Now Paige Powers, Alex Gazan, Ariel Lowen, and Tia Toomey getting to the cage, followed by Emily Rolfe, and Danielle Brandon will be the last woman to start her first lap here on this 48-foot piece of equipment as Laura Horvath is working her way back. 52 reps, 44 reps, pardon me, per round. 132 reps total. Now Horvath is done, and she will begin round number 2. Second place overall because of the tie break with Tia Toomey. Horvath has a 4th and a 2nd so far at the Rogue Invitational.
She's created quite the buffer right out of the gate on round 1 only, as she made it to the ski erg right there at 3:02. So she's looking at probably more than a 20-second gap already that she's established between herself and the rest of the field.
Rain starting up again here at Dell Diamond Stadium. That is certainly going to affect their grip on the killer cage. There's Paige Powers heading back for her 2nd round. Horvath continues to lead here. Ariel Lowen on the right, and Emma Lawson on the left, trying to cut into Horvath's lead here. Time to beat 10:56. That's unofficial from Danny Spiegel. Danny Spiegel needing a solid result here to move her way up the overall standings, as Tia Toomey is now just getting back to the skier. Toomey in 7th place in this heat currently. Laura Horvath continuing to work her way through these 32 calories. The 76 rep mark is when Horvath will move back to the dumbbell. You can see the rain starting to come down again here at Dell Diamond Stadium in Round Rock, Texas. Avoided it for most of the day, and then Mother Nature decided that we had had a smooth enough time and we needed to make some adjustments.
That's right, until it was time to play. Laura making her way to that circus dumbbell at about 447 here as we see. We'll see what the gap is like that she's created now, even coming off the ski erg. But one thing that I appreciate about this weather is it forces even a leader like Laura to have urgency. You just never know how slick or how difficult that killer cage is going to be as you reapproach it due to the change in the surface from the extra rain. So it's certainly forcing these athletes to be urgent and stay focused throughout these evening events.
Laura Horvath is done and onto the killer cage for the 2nd time. Emma Carey is now just getting to the dumbbell as Carey is in 2nd place behind Horvath. Emma Lawson in the blue shorts now hoisting up that dumbbell. Here comes Paige Powers at the far end of the field. And Ariel Lowen walking her way to the dumbbell. There is Emma Carey, who's in 9th place overall right now. 13th place in Texas Heavy to start the competition, then took 7th earlier today and seated the bar.
And we know one thing about Emma Carey from years past and her opportunity to be in front of the media is that she loves to suffer. She likes to grind. She loves the grind of this sport. That's what drew her in as a youngster, of course, pulled into the methodology from her family. But she excels at things like the ski erg or any single modality test due to her willingness to lean into that discomfort.
Horvath heading back to close out round number 2. Now she is done. Tia Toomey now getting back to the cage, and Horvath is going to start her 3rd and final round on the ski erg, and she is just blitzing through this event. Tia Toomey, who came in tied in points with Laura Horvath, but had the tie break and sat atop the overall leaderboard. Looking like she's going to get supplanted in that spot by the woman you're looking at now. Laura Horvath is way ahead of Danny Spiegel's lead pace that Spiegel used to set that top time at 10:56.
And we saw a little bit of this from Laura last year, Sean, as we watched her rip off 4 event wins in a row. We know that she's a type of athlete psychologically and emotionally that feeds off of momentum. So she as she looks side to side, notices she's the only one skiing on the ski erg that only makes her more tenacious.
As Emma Lawson, and smart move by her, has that towel draped in her shirt. There are towels all over the competition field for the athletes to use. Ariel Lowen has now moved into 2nd place. Now Emma Carey sprinting her way back to the erg. And Tia Toomey is now moving back. So Toomey has moved from 7th to 4th in this heat.
And looking like she's actually skiing with a bit more urgency. Reaching her arms overhead a little bit quicker than she was on the previous round. Now she may be a bit more familiar with the killer cage and how it's going to feel on her grip. She's allowing herself to take a bit more of a chance on the erg to finish up this event.
Tia Toomey, who has won the Rogue Invitational every time she has competed in it. And in now 23 events, she's won 11. This is the 24th event in which she's competed. Danny Spiegel's top time has been updated. That's the official time. So 11:33.55 seconds is the official time for Danny Spiegel.
And it looks like it's not going to end up being close between her and Laura, as Laura just makes that dumbbell look like it's hardly anything, almost push pressing it directly overhead every rep.
There's Tia Toomey, who's now moved up into third place in this heat as Laura Horvath is done with that sear bell, and she'll head back to the killer cage for the third and final time. And since we had to push action back here, the third strongman event, the log medley, that has been postponed until tomorrow. This will be the final event of the day here at the Rogue Invitational as Laura Horvath is working her way through her final lap. There's Emma Carey, still in second place in the heat. And Tia Toomey moving to the 70-pound sear bell.
Emma's got to know and be aware that Tia is very aware of every opportunity to close the gap and, of course, earn more points. So to feel her that close, she's going to be doing all she can to close the gap and run Emma down, including that smooth transition that she just made from shoulder to shoulder overhead when she saw Emma put the dumbbell down.
Laura Horvath taking a quick break. Ariel Lowen is also on to her final set of dumbbell presses. Now Emma Lawson getting there as well as Horvath chalking up the hands. You can see Emma Carey in the background on her final lap. Here comes Tia Toomey. That time to beat in the upper right-hand part of your screen is not going to last much longer because Laura Horvath is just about done with this final length. She's going to bring the riser up to help her get back onto the bar. Laura Horvath is done, and Laura Horvath is going to pick up the event win as she will rack up 100 points and looks to sit atop the overall standings all by herself after day two. 10:48.15 seconds. Now here comes Tia Toomey, who has passed Emma Carey. Toomey has moved into second place in the heat and has a chance to get second place in the event. And Toomey is done, and what a charge from Tia Toomey, who will take second place in the circus and only surrender 5 points to Laura Horvath. Danny Spiegel, the good news for her is that she'll pick up 90 points with a third place finish. That will move her way up the standings.
Wow. What execution there. I mean, we talked about her coming back to the ski erg, Sean, around 7th place to finish up round 1, then 3rd place round 2, and then, of course, now she finishes 2nd.
And now Emma Carey will be the 3rd woman in this heat across the finish line. That could be 4th now in the event, as Ariel Lowen is just about done. We only had 2 women finish this test in its entirety in heat number 1. Ariel Lowen is across.
I got to say, Sean, Ariel was one of the athletes that showed a little bit of concern about this dumbbell, the circus dumbbell. She was like, I don't know how I'm going to respond, one side versus the other, if I'll have a dominant side that won't go well, if the dumbbell will be too big for my smaller stature. She absolutely crushed that event, so showed a little bit of concern as we watch Paige Powers take a bit of a slip.
And you can see why changing the standard was the smart move here, because it's just too slippery on those bars sometimes to get a good purchase. Originally, you were going to have to do those unbroken down, unbroken back. If you came off, you were going to have to start all the way back at the beginning of the length. Powers is done. 3 minutes to go before we hit the time cap. Paige Powers came in 17th place overall. This should help her move up the standings a little bit. And now Emma Lawson looking to be the next woman across the finish line. She's on her final length here on the killer cage.
And it surprises me a little bit with Emma struggling, it seems like, with her grip. Being fatigued, I wonder if she's having some hand issues like some of the other athletes are.
Now Lawson is done. She will make it in with plenty of time to spare, and she's taking a look at those hands. And
oh gosh, yeah, for sure.
Gutsy performance from Emma Lawson to work her way through that.
Yeah, that's tough. We've been there. Most of us Too many pull-ups in a workout, bad hand position. Got to take care of those hands. That's a huge priority. We use them for so much, and you don't realize it until you're suffering from something like that.
Now Alex Kazan is in danger of getting time capped. Danielle Brandon on her final lap. Danielle Brandon, 12th place overall coming into this event. And Alex Kazan is coming off an event win. She's passing Brandon there in the background on her way down on the first part of this final lap. Kazan looking to hit the time cap here. Danielle Brandon is getting close. She's got 15 seconds to finish up here and get herself across the finish line before the time cap.
Yeah, couldn't use that time to chalk it.
If she gets to the end, she'll get credit for this final rep. That could help in a tie-break situation. Not going to happen for Danielle Brandon. It's Laura Horvath who's going to lock up the event win. She will be your overall leader heading into the weekend, but only by 5 points over Tia Toomey, and she absolutely demolished this event.
She did, Sean. She killed it from start to finish, to say the least, and she was someone we had our eyes on. We know that this selection of movements, going from a monostructural movement into a weightlifting movement into a gymnastics movement, is something that she excels at historically, specifically when that gymnastics movement is a hanging modality.
5th career event win at the Rogue Invitational for Laura Horvath.
That's right, and she killed it right out of the gate. She skied aggressively, which is something that she has as a strength in her back pocket. When she needs to go fast on an erg, she knows that she's got that capacity. These shoulder to overhead were absolutely nothing for her. She started off just straight push pressing, just a dip and a drive overhead. Smooth transition between her legs, a lot like we've seen from those successful on the men's side. Roman Kronikov, of course, did the exact same thing. And then when it came to the killer cage, it was far from killer for Laura. She's got strong hands, strong grip. Her hobby of loving to rock climb really paid off dividends for this, and she absolutely demolished the conclusion of Friday night.
100 points for Laura Horvath. She picks up her 5th career event win at the Rogue Invitational, and she is with